At their peaks, IndyCar driving, and then Mario went on and won the Formula One Grand Prix Championship, World Championship. So from then on, I called Mario Champ.
Dan Gurney, who is working on the new Toyota engine to bring to IndyCar racing and a new chassis. They have been testing. In fact, they were testing at the Indianapolis Speedway a week ago, and they expect the arrival of that engine in full competition sometime in the middle of next season. A new engine from Toyota. So Toyota, Mercedes, Ford Cosworth. It's going to be a wonderfully healthy season.
And drivers for that Toyota program already in place. P.J. Jones, Parnelli's son, will drive that car alongside Juan Manuel Fangio.
Keeping track of the battle for third place. Nothing's changed here. Villeneuve and Teo Fabi. Teo in his final drive for Jim Hall looking very racy here today. They continue to work with a different rear cowling on their car than any of the others of the mark. And looking back as Nigel Mansell is continuing his fight with Mauricio Gugelmin.
Currently in 8th. It is a battle for position. Yes, currently 8th. Remember, the right rear tire on Mansell's car has not been changed. They only ideally last about 60 to 70 miles. So he has gone way over that now. So he's got to take care of it, but he won't have grip when he turns the car left and leans on that right rear.
Mauricio Gugelmin is signed for next year with Chip Ganassi. There he is, the 88 car coming down the hill. His teammate will be Brian Herta, who has signed a multi-year deal.
Gugelmin again, regarded very highly as a test driver. Very smooth man who seems to understand these Indy cars. Managed by John Bright, another one of the English engineers whose parents in Leicestershire, England are avid race fans and watch everything that goes on with IndyCar. Look at Mansell, wide turn in before he goes to the apex.
With Gugelmin and Ganassi, some things will remain the same. Reynard, Ford Cosworth engines, Goodyear tires, but they will combine the operation. They've been operating with Michael Andretti on one team in one shop, Gugelmin another team, another shop. That will combine for next year. Routine stop for Johansson, if he has such a thing as anything routine today. The good news is he's stopping alone in the pits and there's nobody around him, so he should be able to get clear of the pits without any problem.
Hopefully his next week's routine will continue, because he is due to get married on Tuesday to Gabriella, and they will get married in Las Vegas.
Hiro Matsushita, and this one is not routine as they work on the car. By the way, the CEO of IndyCar, Andrew Craig, who's been a race driver for 20 years, I think Formula 3, sports cars, you name it, he's had a shot at it at one time or another, loves racing. Well, they're going to give him a chance to drive an Indy car, Robby Gordon's Indy car. After an Indianapolis test, they're going to take the car out to Putnam Park in late October and get Andrew Craig an opportunity to see how short the straightaways are and how scared you can really get.
The mark of a true race fan. I hope he takes care of himself, because he is doing a very good job heading up IndyCar at the moment.
Paul Tracy leads it. 3.2 seconds back is Al Unser Jr., then Jacques Villeneuve, Teo Fabi, Emerson Fittipaldi, Raoul Boisel, Mauricio Gugelmin, and then this man, Nigel Mansell.
What a struggle it has been. The reigning champion, unlikely to win a race, certainly unless he can find a lot more speed than he has currently, but he's not the first reigning champion not to win a race in the following season. People like Ray Hall, Unser Sr. twice, 86 and 84, and Rick Mears were all champions that went on to not record a single victory the year of their reigning championship.
You know, there used to be, and I think there still is, a superstition in the sport, it hasn't been followed lately, not to put the #1 on your race car when you win a championship. You just saw why. Zampedri, third time to loop it today.
Well, our Italian friend is using the racetrack and everything on either side of it. Hopefully he can Ringdale Coins car back in one piece. Hopefully he won't need a MyJack product to bring it back to the truck.
Last win for a car with number 1 was Michael Andretti at this race in 1992. I remember back when Gordon Johncock took the championship over at Patrick Racing, George Shuning, his crew chief, took a roll of toilet paper and put the number 1 on it and said, that's the only thing we're making number 1 for next year. Number 1 is a terrible bad luck.
What a fight this is here between Villeneuve and Fabi, and Emerson's right behind them and Bozell. So 4 cars in a line here, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. This is a fight all the way. Gordon is just ahead of them, but he's out of sequence.
Robby Gordon not in the fight at all, but still spectacular views over his shoulder. Sweeping once again down the hill into the right-hander toward the final turn, leading to the pit straight. Update on Andrew Craig and his drive as Robby comes almost opposite lock coming through the corner. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
Well, talking about Robby going opposite lock, that's exactly what Andrew Craig does not want to do. I talked to him just before the start of this race. He said he is going to drive Robby Gordon's car. He says, hey, I want the maximum amount of wing that I can get, the lowest boost they can possibly dial in, because, quite frankly, I'm a lousy race car driver, but I just want to go out there and have fun.
So he's going to be able to live everybody's dream.
And you can just see when the sun shines in the right position over his shoulder, the digital readout on that PI Research dashboard of Robby Gordon's Valvoline Lola here. Oh, he moves aside. He did move aside. He's not in the hunt here for this position, so he let Villeneuve go, Fabi go, Emerson, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. That's where Goodyear went off.
Robby Gordon just drops a wheel off. There is a bit of an edge here, and that can be dangerous. You see him bounce a little as he comes back on. No, not much there. In fact, isn't the wisest thing if you do drop some wheels off here to go ahead and let the car roll off and bring it on gently?
Ride it out, and nobody knows that better from being off the road than Robby Gordon. Not because of his IndyCar exploits, because he made his name off-road racing before he ever stepped into a single-seater car.
Robby Gordon a lap behind the field.
Because of his IndyCar exploits, because he made his name off-road racing before he ever stepped into a single-seater car.
Robby Gordon a lap behind the field, 19th position. Here's Fittipaldi moving to the inside. Gordon trying to let him by, and it didn't really help.
Oh, exactly what happened to Goodyear, except Gordon let it run, was able to stay out of the gravel trap. That dark area on the right side is the gravel trap. If Gordon had got in there, he would have been in trouble, and Gugelmin rolls in.
You saw Gugelmin coming around as Robby Gordon got off course. This looks to be routine, though, as the crew goes to work on Mauricio's car, but they want him to hit the brakes and stop those rear tires from spinning so they can get them changed. He finally did that. Al Unser Jr., the crew is waiting for him.
There is a technique to the pit stops. You got to stop, you got to put your foot on the brake just enough to allow them to change the wheels, then get off, because the pads on the discs when they're stopped generates an incredible amount of heat. So it's just that time to allow the crew members to undo and do up the wheel nuts.
Again, you can get a good idea from the front of that car of all the rubber debris that is being pitched up. You see it at the edge of the race course, too, as Al Unser Jr. makes his turn in and Gary Gerald waits.
I'm right alongside his dad, the former champion Big Al, Roger Penske on the wall. Remember, this Penske crew changed right front suspension after the contact on the opening lap. The fact that they kept him from going a lap down, he's fought his way back to second place. This is his final stop. He still has an opportunity to perhaps win. He's rolling in 14 7/10 seconds.
Al Unser Jr. back into the fight on the 52nd lap. 84 laps the scheduled distance here. As Paul Tracy still has a commanding lead here at Laguna Seca Raceway, and in Jim Hall's pits, that's Jim up on the stand, they consider the ongoing fate of Teo Fabi in third. At 9 p.m. Wednesday, Top Rank Boxing from the pit on the University of New Mexico campus, where Johnny Tapia and Henry Martinez will battle for the vacant World Boxing Organization's super flyweight title. And Mauricio Gugelmin, when he came into the pits, they noted a small fire on the car, sprayed it with water, got the fire out, but that ended Mauricio's day. And so he sits on the pit wall. On the track itself, it is still Paul Tracy now 15 seconds out ahead of second place Jacques Villeneuve as a result of Al Unser Jr. making his stop. Third is Teo Fabi, then Emerson Fittipaldi. fourth, Raul Boisel, followed by Nigel Mansell, Ari Lyondike, Adrian Fernandez, Mario Andretti now in 7th place. Scott Sharp is 8th. Al Unser Jr. dropped to 9th with his stop. And then Andrea Montermini.
So Mario, who shredded that rear tire in that opening lap schmozzle that included his son and Robby Gordon, Unser Jr. and Rahal, surviving at the moment.
Special thanks, by the way, to all of the people this year with the advance of technology in the sport have brought you things like this magnificent onboard camera shot and all of the technology from Ford Electronics and, of course, from Delco brings you the telemetry direct from the race car right to the television screen, and EDS for their magnificent timing and scoring system that keeps us up to date with these races all the way through.
And from that rear-facing camera, you can see chunks of rubber coming off these rear tires, particularly when you go through the corners. Al Jr., you see, that's him and the Penske behind him closing all the time. We're looking out the back of Scott Sharp's Pac West Lola.
And next year we're going to see such a battle with the tires. Virtual tire war between Firestone and Goodyear as Firestone returns to the sport once again. They've been testing most of this season with Scott Pruitt doing the testing for the Patrick Racing team, and of course they will come back in as a team for next year.
And that testing has been impressive. They've been very fast at places like Mid-Ohio, Nazareth. They were quick at Indianapolis. So they seem to understand what it needs to go fast in IndyCar racing, and there are teams at the moment in negotiations to use those Firestone products for next season.
Al Unser Jr. up behind Scott Sharp's Bank of America car as they climb the hill. This is little Al's chance to pass if he wants to duck to the inside. Nope, down the hill they come. Next real chance all the way at the bottom at the turn onto the pit straight.
And I've seen 4 or 5 chunks of rubber fly off the back of that car, and on that lap I watched and I didn't see anything. Talk about the pain being gone when you get to the doctor. Gary Gerald.
4th pit stop for Emerson Fittipaldi. It's a quick one, under 12 seconds. It's his last set of tires. He wanted the tires. It was his call. He'll go to the end on this rubber.
Well, not only his last set, but stickers on the front of the car. Right front, you see it there, is a stickered tire. He comes out with Scott Sharp and Al Unser Jr. and joins in that battle. Why would they do that?
Well, they think
it lives better fresh?
Yes, they think it will not overheat. They think the fronts probably have an easier time than the rears. But Emerson's hand has been played to the full now. If a yellow flag comes out, it could play into Al Jr.'s hands. There's the rubber. Finally, we see the chunks of rubber coming off these rear tires and running out the back of Scott Sharp's Bank of America Lola.
Let's get on board with Scott Sharp's car. We'll take a look as he climbs the hill, the rearward view. Boy, you can get some idea of the elevation here. Look at that.
There's the jump down from the top of that hill all the way to the bottom. Now he's still going down here. This is a 145 miles an hour run. He's not at the bottom yet. The hairpin is the bottom. It is 8 stories from the bottom all the way to the top of that corkscrew.
Looking at the fight for second place, Villeneuve and Fabi as they continue to hammer away at one another. 14 seconds behind the leader, Paul Tracy. That's Parker Johnstone.